watching The Wash Daily. Today news, a study came out looking at neuropathic pain. Unfortunately, it said that cannabis wasn't what they were looking for in terms of a treatment option. The problem with neuropathic pain is there isn't really many pharmaceutical options that are able to give people relief dealing with neuropathic pain, and they were hoping cannabis would show more promise. However, they were only looking at THC isolate and CBD THC 50/50 isolate, and it was at about a 10%. I didn't say what they were giving them. They weren't giving them, it sounds like, a really dank edible. They're giving them, like, I don't know, Charlotte's Web or something. And so who knows really what is going on with that study, but they weren't looking at the right material. It looks like they weren't really trying to demonize cannabis. They were just looking for options, and the regularly available cannabis-derived products or cannabis-dominant products are not, I guess, showing much promise in the area of helping people with neuropathic pain. Also, in news, New Hampshire Senate has been debating cannabis all day for once, and they're not really getting anywhere, but they do admit that cannabis is probably going to be legalized on the national level, that they should probably get their act in gear, that they're one of the very few states who are being holdouts in this prohibition, and the prohibition argument falls apart every day. Even the people behind the prohibition argument are falling apart. National group, I think it's called Safe Alternatives to Marijuana, they're being shown as being a group that's engaging in deception and deceptive practices. They're also pushing false talking points that aren't actually updated. They're coming from the U.S. I guess, I don't know who gave the U.S. guidance on when to schedule cannabis, but whoever thought that cannabis was a Schedule 1 narcotic because it didn't have any medical properties and it was wildly addictive, whoever said that, that's what SAM thinks too, because they aren't paying attention. And the New Hampshire Senate, they're not paying any attention at all. In fact, they keep turning away all these amazing bills to bring any kind of prosperity to New Hampshire, but they're against making a prosperous New Hampshire. They want to keep everybody poor. That's why the working wage is about, I think it's like $9. I don't think it's double digits. I think it's like $8 an hour there. It's a very hard place to make money. And so when they're talking about taking away these businesses where people are actually making money selling vapes and selling CBD and tinctures, it's actually wildly disruptive, because that's one of the few businesses that are actually doing okay. You go to these towns, there's nothing at all except for the head shop where everyone goes every day to get their vapes. So New Hampshire needs to get their act together, but they're tyrannical. They're probably purposefully out for the people. In fact, when it says live free or die, it's not a question. It's an and or statement, and they've chosen. Also in news, Pam Bondi, Attorney General for U.S., completely misses her deadline. Again, another one of her deadlines she's missed. And she is not giving any guidance on how to move forward for people who are looking to study cannabis, especially in a lab setting. She was supposed to get going on a transfer from cannabis from being a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 narcotic. She was also instructed to provide guidance a few days ago, which she didn't do, on how labs and how researchers can move forward with Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 narcotics, what they're able now to study, which is a recent thing, but they're not sure how to do it. They're looking for Bondi's, I guess, guidance on how to do that safely. If these groups are looking at Schedule 1 or 2 narcotics incorrectly or handling them improperly, they get the lab closed. People can go to jail. Come on, Pam! Thanks for watching The Wash Daily.
My hair has never been so clean. Thank you for watching The Wash Daily.
The Wash Daily is viewer-supported and a voluntarist effort to help combat disinformation about cannabis. Can subscribe, dude.